me send this out real quick. Hello, 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 sunshines. Come on in, come on in, come on in. I hope that y'all are well. Happy, magnificent Man on Monday. This one gonna be good. So I'm excited. I sent it out a bit. I'm not gonna be on here really long. Thank you, Lovey. I'm not gonna be on here really long. But I wanted to come on and talk a bit because lately I've been talking a lot about time, and I've been talking a lot about how women have been working against their time, and that's why a lot of women are exhausted, a lot of women are sick, a lot of women are all over the place. And so today we're going to talk about how, when I say they, I don't think I have to say who they are. I think y'all been riding with me long enough to know who I'm talking about when I say they. But just in case if you don't know, I'm talking about societal systems. But today's topic is going to be on they never plan to fix you, they plan to replace you. And it's not quite what you think. I know a lot of you are probably be thinking, oh, yes, this is what they're doing with AI. But no, this is what they've been doing the entire time. AI is just another extension of that. Thank you, Lovey. Hi. So AI is just another extension of that. They've been playing on our tops. But for those who do not know who I am, my name is Elle Antoinette, and I am an identity authority consultant. And what that looks like and what that means is that I advise women in leadership on emotional precision. I advise those women on energetic mastery so that their influence matches their impact. So when you think about somebody who is an identity authority consultant, that means that I specialize in supporting the women that I work with in installing systems that require a leader's inner world to support her ambition or her external success. So this could look like relationships. This could look like the way she makes money. This can look like a multitude of things. But in order for you to maintain the outer, you have to have a solid structure for the inner. And a lot of women, why they keep breaking down, is because there's no solid structure for the inner. So you can't maintain the outer. This is how you see a lot of women rise to the top. And then when they get there, they start having massive health issues, or they start having all these things that start to happen to them, after they have succeeded and done all these things. Well, the reality is a lot of them have been working against their design. If you have not been watching my series lately where I've been talking about sun clocks, moon clocks, and how it's important when it comes down to women understanding their circadian rhythm clock, as well as understanding your moon clock, and even breaking it down from a scriptural perspective so that you know that I'm not just giving you or telling you anything crazy. You can go and look this stuff up for yourself. So today, I'm going to dive pretty deep into what this looks like. So the first thing I want to say is let me go ahead and let you know who this live is for. So if this live is not for you, then you can go ahead about your business. Because don't get in my comments cutting up, because I don't really do that over here. And I don't do that at all. So, like I said, this live is going to be for the woman who's successful but is secretly exhausted. This is going to be for the woman whose cycle is screaming, whose sleep is stolen, whose schedule is basically in a cage because you can't really seem to do much other than what you're doing, which is probably working extremely hard. She's tried routine, she's tried planners, she's even tried supplements. She on TikTok probably looking for supplements to give her energy and give her strength, but she still seems to feel out of sync. This isn't burnout. This is a biological betrayal that you have not been aware of, and I'm going to put you on game. Because society is not going to tell you this. They're just going to continue to use you, and that's been the gimmick, that's been the game. Everything that I teach is rooted in scripture and backed up by science. So you don't have to believe me. I encourage you to go and look these things up for yourself. The scripture tells you to ask. The scripture tells you to seek. The scripture tells you to knock. When somebody tells you anything, you should be dissecting it for yourself to make sure that it's correct. We live in a society of illusions, and the currency of illusion is control. So the powers that be in society keeps you under control by providing you with illusions. It's your responsibility to shatter the illusion. You shatter the illusion by getting an understanding, which is it tells you to do in scripture. So again, this particular woman, she's probably high achieving. She may be a six-figure founder. She is a six-figure maybe professional. She's emotionally intelligent. She's spiritually aware. And honestly, she's ready to stop fixing. How can I explain this? They're ready to stop fixing themselves. They're ready to start aligning with their divine rhythm. So she doesn't need balance. She actually needs her biology back. And so by the end of this live, this is going to support you in getting in the space of that. So if you are burnt out, and you're exhausted with everything that's happening in your world, that's happening in your country, that's happening in your society, that's happening on your television, that's happening in general, then this is going to be for you, because I need you to grasp, and we talked about this last week, remember? Society don't give a damn about you. These systems, the corporate systems, they don't care about you, okay? Get that in your mind, drill that in your brain, eat that for breakfast, lunch, and dinner so you can get out of your feelings and you can get to the real of it. Because the real of it is this: you are responsible for taking care of your temple. You are responsible for prioritizing yourself first before any of these things, even before any of your roles, okay? And these things, I'm telling you, are all scriptural. So if you are a believer, 9 times out of 10, and you're exhausted all the time, 9 times out of 10 is because you're operating outside of your line. You're outside of alignment. Okay? So let's go ahead and get straight into it. Let's open the womb for those who had not been here for me to break this down. Go to my YouTube channel to catch the other couple of videos where I talked about this or started this series off. But let's go ahead and get straight into it. Let me be very clear. Some of you, and when I say some of you, I'm talking about women specifically. Some of you were never taught, and I keyword never. Okay, let me plug on my iPad so it don't die on me. Yeah, toxic jobs is a part of it, but it's bigger. Toxic jobs come from a demonic society. Demonic societies come from giving access to demonic influence. Giving access to demonic influence normally, how can I say this? If it's unbeknownst to you, you're not guarding your gates. But if it's very known to you, then you went looking for it for personal gain, which is a form of high-level sorcery, which that's a whole nother conversation, but I'll get into that in a second. Hold tight. Because one thing that I need society to understand, you know what? No, I'm going to say this now, because I'm not even going to wait to say it towards the end. I'm going to say this now, and I'll say it again. I challenge you, if you are a scripture reader, to get the Ethiopian Bible, or even to go look up Book of Enoch, chapter 69. And I want you to read in chapter 69 about the last couple of fallen angels that came and taught heavenly knowledge to humans, and how humans corrupted the heavenly knowledge. Did you know that human beings, technically, we were not all supposed to know how to write? There's a fallen angel by the name, it starts with a P, but it's in there. It's a fallen angel that came down and that taught women how to write. Because they labeled women and they taught women sorcery and different kind of things, and how to work the earth and a bunch of different stuff. Meteorology, the path of the clouds. All this stuff is in the Book of Enoch. You can go read for yourself, okay? But one of the angels literally had the ability to write. The ability to write was supposed to only be given to people who were responsible enough with the spiritual knowledge to tell the truth. Do you know why everyone was not supposed to write? Everyone was not supposed to write because they would do exactly what they already did, which is rewrite the scripture, which is take a bunch of stuff out, not put everything that's supposed to be in there, and rewrite it for their own personal gain, i.e. slavery. So when we talk about how they use scripture and how scripture was used to keep people enslaved, that's because the King James Version is the most stepped on version of scripture ever, because it's been chopped up and screwed. Everything is not in there, and that's been done on purpose to keep you down and to keep you not being aware, which is why they were not supposed to be able to write. There are a lot of hidden things, I can't say that, where I believe that they are on this app, because I'm probably going to get banned. But I strongly suggest you do your research, because it also says in scripture that if you can't deny a bribe, then you shouldn't become a judge. Certain giftings and certain things were only supposed to be given to certain people who had the responsibility, who could be accountable and not deceive people. Because being able to write something is very dangerous. Because if a person writes something and they read it and they take it as truth, that can rewire their entire brain, that can rewire their entire nervous system, that can rewire their entire life. People were sent to jail based on lies. Do you understand how dangerous it is to write things down and it not be truthful? It is a violation of spiritual law, and it is something that was taught by a fallen angel. Like I said, go read the Book of Enoch, chapter 69. The angel name starts with a P. I can't remember off top, But it starts with a P, and you can go read for yourself. But understand that things were written to program you to do certain things and program you to violate your design as a woman, to violate your design as a human being, and a whole bunch of other stuff that you really should probably go read for yourself. But this, what I'm going to talk about today, is going to show how they've been able to do that, much like they wrote the 9-to-5 schedule. 9-to-5 schedule was built on testosterone. Testosterone drives up and resets every 24 hours. So your 9-to-5 and you working every single day as a woman throws you out of balance, because you not only have your circadian rhythm clock, which is what we share with men, but we also have, what's I gonna say? We also have the infrared clock, or the moon clock. Okay? So it's really, really important for you to be clear that your emotions, okay, are governed by one aspect of your body, and another aspect of your body, your organs, are being governed in that sense. And when you are not clear on your sun clock and your moon clock, this is how women become out of balance. Sisters, if you are having issues with your cycle, you are having issues with your organs. If you're having issues with your moon cycle, you are having issues with your sun clock, which means that your organs are screaming something is wrong. You having low iron and thinking it's cute to eat ice is not cute. Your liver is screaming, and you need to check their vitamin D, because extremely low vitamin D pushes you into autoimmune disease. Extremely low vitamin D makes you depressed. A lot of y'all ain't even depressed. You literally when they say depression is chemically imbalanced, do you know what that means? You probably ain't got no vitamin D. Before you let them give you a diagnosis of MS, before you let them give you any diagnosis, you find out what the minerals and the vitamins in your body are doing. And they're not always going to offer you the test. You're going to have to ask. You're going to have to seek. You're going to have to knock. The scripture was preparing you on how you need to govern yourself in this world. If you got to search, seek, and knock and ask to get the wisdom activated and given to you, do you not think that you need to seek, knock, and ask when people are just telling you stuff out here in society? You might want to consider that. The scripture is not a book of rules and strictness. It's a book of codes that activate when you sit with it long enough. It begins to reveal itself to you. And when it begins to reveal itself to you, you're welcome, love. All praise to the Most High. And thank y'all for these gifts and these likes. I truly appreciate it. When you get this information and you truly understand how you operate, you learn how to maneuver in this world. It's hard maneuvering in this world as a woman. Okay? You're not really respected. It's a multitude of things that go with it. And I'm not even going to go on a tangent about that, because it's not about that. But nobody is going to respect you until you start respecting yourself. And you cannot respect yourself until you start respecting your own design. It's not a coincidence that women, thank you, my love, for these gifts. It's not a coincidence that women have all these womb issues. It's not a coincidence. This has been set up from the beginning. I'm finna put y'all on game. Okay, so let's get into it. Like I said, some of you were never taught how to rest. Okay, you were only taught how to recharge, which is why all y'all do is go on vacation and go get your nails done and do all this simple stuff that's really not penetrating the soul. Understand that self-care is supposed to penetrate to the soul. It's supposed to be an internal to external experience, even though society sold it to you as an external experience, especially during COVID. They really sold you bubble baths and all that other crap like it was really going to change your vibrational state, like it was really going to set up an internal environment and structure that you really need, when it was not. It was only going to pacify you, much like the pills they give you, because they don't want to give you solutions. They only want to give you things to pacify your symptoms, because they need you sick, because they need you in the system. But hold tight. So because of that, because of you not necessarily knowing how, or not being taught how to rest and only how to recharge, your nervous system literally thinks that collapse is the only way to get stillness. This is why you only rest when your body breaks down. Some of you only stop when your body breaks down and makes you say, I guess God wanted me to sit down. The Most High told you to take care of your temple, because you're going to need your temple. Your temple is a place. What is the temple? The temple is a place of worship. It should be in good state. It should be in a healthy state. So let's get into the space of what that looks like. When you only collapse, or when you only fall back and fall down, and that's when you calm down and relax and do the things that you need to do for yourself. Your identity is literally addicted to pressure. Your identity is addicted to pressure, okay? Because you associate stillness with being replaced, with being forgotten, or falling behind. Y'all don't just do this in work and in business. Y'all do this in relationships. I'm going to say this one more time, and I want you to think about this from a relationship perspective. A lot of women's identity, the ones who only get stillness when they collapse, when they body break down, because they just can't go no more. You done finally got sick and it caught up with you. Your identity is literally addicted to pressure because you associate stillness with being replaced, with being forgotten, or falling behind. That's why you do all those things you do for men. Because if you don't do that, he's gonna leave you. You're gonna be replaced, right? Girl, you better take care of your man. What they tell y'all? You better do this. You better do this or you gonna lose him. You gonna be replaced. Let me tell you something. Anything that's mine will always find me. Hey, Joseph. Anything that's mine is going to always align. And what's for me is going to be for me. But most importantly, everything on this earth has an expiration date. So I'm not attached to anything of this world, and I'm not supposed to be, because everything has an expiration date, including water. You understand? Including water. My vitamin D was 15. They were trying to diagnose me as depressed. We tested for this level. Absolutely, baby. Let me tell you something. A lot of people who feel like they got seasonal depression, get that vitamin D check. Get that vitamin D check and come back and talk to me. Get that vitamin D check. Because see, when that vitamin D start cutting up and it get to a certain point, you're going to have them iron issues too. See, them two go kind of hand in hand. And that basically means that your liver is screaming. You understand that your liver is in premature organ failure? And you can be in something for years. The body is like a vehicle. You could run around and you could ride around with the car being hot for a while until eventually it blows up. But you could ride for a minute with it being hot. Very much so like within your body. Very much so like within your body. You can run around here for a while before you fall out. But you not being in tune with your body is the problem, because the body gives you warnings. The body gives you signs, but you're so disconnected from your core that you're not even getting the signals anymore. Okay? Because your identity is addicted to pressure, because you associate stillness, not moving, not doing something, not being productive, not serving that man, not sleeping with him, not cooking for him, not doing this, not doing that. It's going to get you replaced. It's going to get you forgotten. It's going to get you to falling behind. If you don't do what these people are telling you, if you don't volunteer for this extra work in corporate, even though they're not taking care of you, you're going to be replaced. You're going to be forgotten. You're going to be falling behind. These are the conversations that a lot of people are having with me, because they're talking about how much AI is going to replace your job. But let me put you on game and let you know something. Okay? Just say, yes, I was too tired. Brain fog, divorce. Listen, human creativity is an irreplaceable asset, according to the World Economic Forum. The problem is they canceled all the creative programs in school after I got out of school, right? Okay? So, hi, Lovey, thank you. So they replaced all those programming. And then they started replacing community with a lot more things that are convenient. And you know what happens when too much convenience enters into a space? People get lazy. This is why people go to chat to ask questions, and they don't really fully do the research, even though they know the AI is not 100% correct, because they want to be lazy. They want the shortcuts. And what does that do when you keep doing it? And what does doom scrolling do? It messes with your creativity. It messes with your creativity. And when you cannot create anything for yourself, you can't create a new reality for yourself. And society knows that, which is why they took creativity out of schools, because they wanted more slaves. You understand? They wanted more people who were going to be submitted to whatever it is that they say. Because what did I tell you in the beginning? If you go to Enoch, Book of Enoch, in the Ethiopian scripture, chapter 69, and you check out that angel that I told you that start with a P, that's the one that taught the secret way to be able to write things, and write it in a way to where you can program people's mind to believe things that are not true. It blew my mind when I found that out. It blew my mind, but it also did not shock me, because that is what they use to program you. That is what they use to program us. When we write things down, we take them as true, don't we? We believe them wholeheartedly, don't we? We will go head up and say that this is the truth because we saw it written down automatically. This is why you should ask. This is why you should seek. This is why you should knock. Because you really need to figure out. And when I'm saying them threes, you need to reference and check something at least 3 times. You need to ask, you need to seek, and you need to knock. And when I say this, I'm saying ask the people who ask the Most High. Ask the Most High. Seek the knowledge out for yourself and knock down the doors and the invisible ceilings that seem to block you from getting access to the information that you want to know, because it's all out there. Because here's what you have to understand about demonic influence in general. Demonic influence requires permission in order for participation to come into a space. Just like a lot of people saw the movie Sinners, and the guy kept asking, hey, you gonna let me in? You gonna let me in? That wasn't a film. That wasn't just an excerpt. That's really how it goes. Demonic influence cannot touch you unless you give it an access point, unless you give it permission. If you give it permission by watching it, you give permission with your eyes by listening to it, you give permission with your ears by opening your legs, you allow it to come through your portal. This is why it tells you in scripture to guard your gates. This is why it tells you to guard your heart above everything else, because from it flows life. The quality of your life is going to be dependent upon what flows through you. How about that? Huh? And that's just, and even when you look at that from a perspective of physically, the quality of your life is dependent upon what is flowing through you. If you are having issues with flow and ease on the inside of you, and you have dis-ease, which means a lack of harmony, that's going to impact your quality of life, beloved. And these are the things that you have to pay attention to, because if you don't care about you, nobody's going to care about you. Stop thinking these countries, these corporations, and people are supposed to care about you more than you are supposed to care about yourself. That is not the way this works. Okay? So we talked about how your identity, basically the identity is addicted to the pressure because you associate stillness with being replaced, being forgotten, or falling behind. Let's talk about the psychology behind it a bit. Thank you, Lovey, for these likes. Overfunctioning in your lower energy, literally your lower energy phases, specifically like your luteal phase, your menstrual phase, that isn't dedication. Excuse me. That isn't dedication. That's dysregulation. If you're working hard during your cycle, if you're working hard during luteal, you're throwing your body out of balance. You're throwing your body out of balance. Thank you, lovies. You are throwing your body out of balance. A lot of women have to understand it's not that when you see a woman in that space that keeps going and keeps pushing, she ain't consistent. Y'all got the game wrong. She's performative. And performance is killing her capacity, which is why women who perform like that can't stay in their positions long. Much like you can't code switch all day long. See, code switching is a form of performance. Because it's saying, oh, I'm not like the others. And I understand. Because I grew up and I was trained to be like, oh, you don't present yourself. You don't. Code switching is a form of performing. And so when you eventually snap on a job because you have to show who you really are because this performing at work is not getting you what you want. Yeah. This is why I say women need to be easy and watch their mouths while they talking about other women. Oh, she's a pick-me. She's this. If you are code switching, if you are altering your core in any way for human beings' approval, praise, or anything like that, sweetheart, you are no different than the pick-me. The pick-me energy is not just sitting in relationships. It's sitting in waiting on people to promote you, to approve you, to applaud for you. See, all of those things is a performance. Why do you need somebody to clap? Because you're what? At performing. Because we clap after a performance. Okay? So these are the things that we have to think about. Now let's talk about, I talked heavy about this in my other videos, so I'm not really doing a lot of it today. So I'm going to expose some aspects of the system if you weren't here. So the calendar that we use was not built for our biology. Thank you, my love, for these follows and these likes, okay? And the fact that we continue to obey it anyway does nothing but prove that patriarchy doesn't need to chase you. It trains you to chase yourself. I'm gonna say it again. The calendar was not built for our biology. And the fact that you are obeying it anyway is proof that patriarchy does not need to chase you, because it literally trains you to chase yourself. So let's drop some statistics, because I'm a nerd too. So I like to read. My mom used to make me read books every summer and write chapters on them. Write papers on each chapter. She was not playing. And if it sounded like some BS, I was writing it over. So when I tell you I dig, okay? So let me give you this stat real quick. So this is a stat that I have. Women's hormonal cycles follows the 28 to 34 day cycle, day infrared rhythms. The modern work week was built on the male circadian recess, which is 24 hours. You are not meant to work like men. They were not you were not designed for that. We're not even talking scientifically. Spiritually, you weren't designed for that. And scientifically, you weren't designed for that. And guess who knew that the whole time? Society. Imagine the teenage girls and the millennials like myself that will put on birth control at 13, 14 or whatever, because let me tell y'all what they did. And for those who are millennials, y'all can back me up on this. They had the teen pregnancy era rocked millennials. Do you understand? Rocked us. It rocked us in a multitude of ways, but it really rocked us, and it rocked our parents more than anything. Our parents were so focused on us not becoming pregnant. Our parents were so focused on like these things that they would put their daughters on birth control. And a lot of times, whether or not their daughters were, if they knew for sure if their daughters were sexually active or not, but just as a preventative measure. And then if you had an irregular cycle, because you grew up in an era where everybody just listened to the doctor, they would put your teenage daughter on birth control, like they did me. And birth control threw my body completely out of balance. Here's what I think is interesting about the teen pregnancy era. While they were showing us all these raw videos of, these STDs and different things like that, they were not teaching us about our design. Imagine going to the doctor and they're giving you a full thing of birth control pills that represent the 4 phases of you. You understand those colors represent a phase of your cycle? They ain't even tell us that. They just take this last week right here, some sugar pills, because these other pills are hormonal pills that mimic the phases of your cycle. See, nobody was breaking this down to us and teaching us that when you put a false hormone in your body that mimics something that you already have, it's actually stronger than that. So it causes all kind of side effects and throws the body out of balance. Do you understand it throws your pheromones off? Do you understand that you think you're attracted to a man that you're actually not attracted to when you want that stuff? See, they don't tell you any of this. I had a classmate to come to me and ask me, why is it that she is, because she saw the work that I do. Thank you, Lovey, for these gifts and these likes. She saw the work that I do, and she was like, I don't know what is going on, but I seem to be spotting, while me having this IUD. Do you have any information on why I might be spotting? And I was like, absolutely. The reason why you're probably spotting is because the IUD gives out that hormone and pushes it out every blue moon, it's timed. And so it pushes out what it needs to push out. And as it's pushing it out, it throws the body out of balance. So the body is trying to catch up. The body's trying to figure it out. So the spotting is what you're seeing that's coming from that. It's the heavy overload of that false hormone that's mimicking your hormone. And the body's trying to do everything. Do you understand that the body is designed to save your life every day? Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes. The body is designed to save your life every day. I saw a post that said, we get cancer and cure cancer every day. You know why people really don't cure cancer and don't cure fibroids and different things like that? Because the environment that it's sitting in is not safe. It's not a healthy environment. Nothing can heal in an environment full of junk, trash, processed food, and all this stuff. And I tell you this is somebody who used to be 100 pounds heavier. I used to be 100 pounds heavier. I used to have polycystic ovarian syndrome. Key word. I used to have polycystic ovarian syndrome when nobody was talking about it. You understand? So what I'm telling you is, I ain't new to it. I'm very true to it. You were looking at a woman who had an irregular cycle since she got one at 11. I had an irregular cycle from 11 all the way to 33 and a half. You understand? Until I started really doing the work and getting the understanding of what was happening within my body and stop allowing people to tell me. There was one doctor One. I'm gonna tell you, this is the crazy part about it is I went to a multitude of doctors, black doctors. I'm talking about I was in there like, what can I do? All of them, birth control, this, that. One man looked at me and said, you know you can reverse this, right? That man was white. One doctor, he said, you know you can reverse this, right? This can be completely reversed. He was the only one who ever said that to me. And because everybody else is telling me, no, I can't do it. I was like, I didn't really believe it. But he was 100% correct. He was 100% right. The body is designed to protect you and to heal you. But if you are not eating for your organs, if your organs are not strong enough to fight, if your immune system is not intact, if anything is off balance, you cannot prevent dis-ease from entering into the body. And these are the things you have to pay attention to. And let's not even talk about stress. That's why they give you fear-mongering content, news, because they know that stress weakens your immune system if you worry. And then you remember it says in scripture that you shouldn't be anxious for anything. You know why you shouldn't be anxious for anything? Outside of it being faithless. That's number one if you call yourself a believer. But the second aspect of that is that it weakens your immune system. When you worry, it weakens your spleen. You know, your spleen is your quality control vessel in your body. So if the spleen ain't working right, guess what's not going to be working right next? The stomach. And then 6 months in, you're going to be going to the doctor because you're having constipation, or you may be using the bathroom and you see pebbles. And you're trying to figure out what's going on, and they tell you have IBS. And then they tell you things like, oh, you need to lower your stress. But they don't tell you that the stress of worry is actually weakening your spleen. And the spleen is what can't work with the body. So we have to work on healing the spleen. I learned that chicken isn't good for my blood type. Cut it out and change my symptoms. We need to pay attention. We miss everything. And I'm going to tell you something. I used to be eating a whole bunch of processed food, a bunch of processed chicken, any chicken. And I had multi-cysts on my ovaries. Ain't got none now. So let's go to the next thing. Okay, this is me just exposing what's going on system-wise, right? So let's talk about, since women are working a 9-to-5 schedule, which is built on male circadian resets, which is testosterone, right? Big testosterone. And for my queens who have insulin resistance, are they telling you that you have too much testosterone? Or are you simply just growing a beard? See, when my beard was the heaviest, see, I'm just going to get into it. When it was the heaviest, I can show you pictures where I look extremely different. I think I got one in this iPad. I was growing a full-fledged, like it was coming in. Why? Too much testosterone. What was my workload like? Oh, I was doing everything. I was doing everything for everyone and everybody. I'm looking for this picture because I'm finna show y'all, because I know y'all probably ain't gonna believe me. I'm gonna have to block. Oh no. Hold on. Oh, I gotta plug it in here. Let me see. Hold on this question, y'all. What about those who work overnight? Is it an adverse impact on women's health? Yes. Yes. Anything that impacts your sleep. Yes. Sleep is a major part of your health. And as you begin to age, I'm 41. So as you begin to age, you begin to really understand the importance and the value of strength, of sleep, strength training, protein, because over 40 you lose, I think it's like 8% of muscle mass a year. Fiber, because a lot of people in my age bracket are getting colon cancer and they won't even screen you for it until 45. Start paying attention to what is going on around you. Start paying attention to the fact that these hospitals are closing up, baby. Pay attention to the fact that they playing with y'all health insurance, sweetheart. Just start paying attention. And start making it a priority to put yourself first and to get in the habit of that. I'm going to have to, let me see. Because I'm going to find this for y'all so y'all can see real quick. Ooh, child. Hold on, this man I was engaged to in this photo, and I can't show this photo. I mean, I can't show me. I can't show him in this photo. But I'm going to show you me at 21. There's me at 21. 21 years old. You see how different my skin is? Insulin resistance. Why am I so dark? Insulin resistance. See that? I don't know if you can see it, but that little 5 o'clock shadow. 21. 2-1. You understand? So that is 100 pounds heavier. That is insulin resistance. That is heavy testosterone. That is me working 3 jobs. Let's get into it. That's me working at the Department of Children's Services. That's me working as a MAC makeup artist, right? That's me working as having my own business. I looked like that for... When did I really start getting serious? When my best friend died. So I had my spiritual awakening at 33 and a half. So that's when I really started to kind of get serious. So I was like that from when I went to college, because it was when I picked up the weight, from 18 to 33. From 18 to 33. Oh, I have no problem with that. I have no problem with that. You're welcome. So I want you to understand that the biological consequence of me working myself into the ground gave me chronic cycle disruption, gave me mood disorders, gave me fertility issues, gave me burnout, and gave me adrenal fatigue. Okay? The world does not need you rested. Okay? It needs you regulated so you can revolt against the systems that have been put up to keep you in cages. Hi, Lovey. Thank you so much for these gifts. I need you to understand that. They don't care about you. They never care. Y'all need to go back and listen to that song by Michael Jackson. I keep telling y'all that's like my favorite song. My nail broke. But whatever. It's my favorite song. Okay? All I want to say is that they don't really care about us. They never cared. That song was 30 years old and they still don't care. So what I'm going to need you to do is start caring about yourself. Because it matters. Thank you, my love, for these gifts. How did you get rid of the hair growing on your face? I'm struggling to reduce the hair growth. You need to change your diet. And here's the thing about hair growth that's reality that we need to be honest about. You can never actually stop that. What you can do is completely slow it down. So you have to check and see the things that you are eating. I have a class that's coming up that comes with a bonus that can support you in giving you extreme details. I had a client who has some massive issues in the area, and we were able to get her the support that she needed because she had harmony in 6. But I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a second. Let's talk about these 3 addictions real quick, okay? Women are struggling in these 3 key areas, and society knows this, and this is why they keep playing on you. This is how they get you to buy more things. This is how they get you to participate in your own early demise. So you may have thought this is just about fatigue, but it's actually about identity addiction, and identity addiction comes from programming. So let me talk a little bit and gauge some understanding on identity and why this is really important and why I'm an identity authority consultant. The reason why it's so important is because when you don't know who you are, you don't govern yourself properly. Imagine you were the royal queen in Zamunda, right? And I'm just being for real. Well, perfect example. Let's get to it. Coming to America is a perfect example. When dude came over here, he literally was the prince of Zamunda, right? But he didn't want nobody to know he was the prince of Zamunda. And because he didn't want nobody to know he was the prince of Zamunda, what did he do? He chose an identity to assimilate with. So he chose the identity of someone who didn't have a whole lot, who didn't have this, who didn't have that, and people treated him according to that identity. Even down to, if you want to go to him being on a date with the girl Patrice, right? And Patrice was all into him, and he was fine, and he was all that until she thought Simi lied to her and told her that he was the prince. So then she started going after Simi, and she started being with him. People treat you based on how you identify. So if you don't identify yourself, you understand? If you don't identify yourself in this society, you will have to pick an identity to assimilate in society. And this is what women do. This is what girls do when they go to high school and they want to get around a popular girl, right? And they may become a mean girl. If you look at the movie, I think it's Jawbreakers. It's the movie like the high school teens. And it was one girl, Fern, who wanted to be the popular girls or whatever. And Fern started becoming mean because her identity shifted when she became a part of the popular girls. She became a mean girl. When you do not have your identity solidified, if you are not rooted in who you are spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, you will become exhausted from playing that role consistently. You cannot attract and keep things under false pretenses. This is literally scriptural. It tells you you cannot obtain things from an evil space. To pretend to be something else to get something is a form of sorcery. You cannot perform sorcery and think that you're going to keep sustainability. That ain't the way this works. That ain't the way this works. You are in violation of spiritual law, and you are causing yourself great harm. So because we don't know our identities, we pick identities and we try to assimilate in society until we can no longer do it anymore. And then the veil cracks in the form of a what? Midlife crisis. Let's get into it. There is no such thing as a midlife crisis. I am 41 years old, baby. There is no such thing as a midlife crisis. What you are facing, and I have a video on this on YouTube, what you are facing is an initiation. You understand? When you get to that point in your life and you feel like you about to have a breakdown, there is no midlife crisis. What you have realized is that the mask has fallen off. The mask has finally choked you out to the point to where you can no longer sustain the act. You either going to have to put yourself first or people going to keep using you up. You're going to have to make some different decisions or you're going to drown in this. See, that's really what that is. There is no such thing as a midlife crisis. Anytime you find yourself in the middle of a crossroad, you ought to get happy because that is an initiation. You understand? It is an initiation, and you either pass or fail the initiation. If you move in the direction that's in alignment with you, you're going to always pass the initiation. If you go against your authentic design and the truth about yourself, you will always find yourself choked out, smothered. You understand? Because as we learned during COVID, the longer you wear a mask, the harder it is for you to breathe. So let's go ahead and get into these 3 addictions that come from the mask that a lot of women are wearing. Number 1. Like I said, you thought it was just about fatigue, and it's actually about identity addiction to pain, to pressure, and to proving. And this is 3 of the major things that women that come to work with me struggle with. And I have to support them in undoing this. Number 1, I like to call this the overfunctioner's trinity. Now, if you find yourself in here, baby, it's time to get yourself out, okay? Number 1, in the overfunctioner's trinity is being addicted to pain. This is the person that keeps choosing burnout because struggle feels familiar. If you grew up and you didn't have nothing, I bet you work so hard to keep everything you can and everything you have, and you hold on to everything so tight because you don't dare want to go back to the space of poverty again. Completely understandable. Completely understandable. But see, what you are not realizing is that because of the struggle, because you haven't been able to address and ascend mentally and spiritually from the struggle mindset, you take that into your corporate world. So yes, you may be making 6 figures now. Yes, you may be making a lot of money. Yes, the business can be very successful for you, but you are exhausted as hell. Nobody is showing up for you. You have no support. You look so good. People are telling you how amazing you look, but nobody is asking you how you sleeping. Nobody's asking you how you feel. Because you look so good and you don't look like what you're going through, people have no empathy for you because they don't even ask. They don't even think that you're going through anything. Why? Because you're addicted to the struggle. You're addicted to the struggle. In your mind, in your soul, in your subconscious mind, you are saying, if I'm not exhausted, I'm not enough. And see, one of the biggest culprits in training us to be like that has been the traditional church that was not really rooted in the truth of what was stated in the text. See, a lot of women learn that to be a wife meant to be a slave. To be a wife, you know what I'm saying, means to sacrifice your everything. To be a mother means that you better not take care of yourself. You better put them kids first. You better do this and you do that. But the scripture tells you to love your neighbor as yourself. I'm just trying to understand. And it also says that's one of the greatest commandments. Greatest. So you mean to tell me your child ain't your neighbor? You mean to tell me that you are so sold out for taking care of your child and struggling to make sure your child gets everything that they need, that you would die from, that you wouldn't live from? You wouldn't take care of yourself to live from? It's not making sense. It's not making any sense. You are supposed to fuel the woman that fills the roles. Imagine putting yourself in a position and feeling like, oh my God, I would do anything for my children. I would die for them, but you won't live for them. Makes absolutely no sense. You are addicted to the pain of struggle. And because of that, you inflict that on other people. This is how and why you want your children to get it out of the mud. That's why you want them to get it out of the mud. Because you lack the understanding and you're addicted to pain. And if they don't know the struggle, they won't understand how to survive. Please, let's get into the second aspect of the overfunctioners. Thank you, Lovey. Hi, Lovey. I'm going to respond to you today, too. I'm going to respond to you today. I was out of town. The second thing or addiction in the overfunctioners trinity, okay, is the addiction to pressure. Okay. Hi, sis. It's the addiction to pressure. Okay. These are the type of women that find their worth in always having a deadline. If I'm not being pulled, I feel lost. These are the ones, and I used to be like this too. These are the ones who get their homework done at when the project done at 11:59. Thank you, my love, for these gifts. They starting on it at 10:30 p.m. These are the women that identify with the mindset that I am great in the pressure cooker. I'm just good under pressure. Nobody or nothing is good under pressure. This is why it's against the law for them to interrogate you a certain kind of way when you're under pressure. It's too much kind of like coercion when you are under pressure. It's too much like force when you are under pressure. And so a lot of women don't move. They're addicted to, okay, if I have a deadline, if I'm not being pulled, then I feel lost and all of that. Exactly, being under duress. Let me tell you something. You live in a society that wants to keep you in that state. Do you understand that? And do you understand being in the pressure cooker ruins your spleen? Being in the pressure cooker ruins your spleen because you're always stressed. You're always worried about getting things done. So you welcome sickness into your body. Hi, Lovey. You welcome sickness into your body because you're trying to force yourself to perform. See, all of these are aspects of performing. Because a feminine woman never has to rush. What's the rush, baby? A feminine woman is always on time because she's operating according to divine timing, her rhythm, alignment, okay? Which makes it easier for her to ascend. And these are the things that we are not paying attention to because we're so addicted to pressure and being in the pressure cooker. When being in the pressure cooker, sweetheart, gets you cooked. Being in the pressure cooker gets you cooked, beloved. Is that what you want? I mean, I'm just asking. I mean, if you like it, I love it, baby. I can't tell you how to live your life now. One thing about me is I ain't gonna argue with your perception of self and the way you see yourself and the way you want to treat yourself. I'm going to let you do what you want to do. I'm just going to tell you the truth and hope that you get set free. Okay? So let's go ahead and get into this space. The last aspect of addiction in the overfunctioners trinity, okay? Thank you, my lovey, is the addiction to proving. The addiction of proving people. Y'all will marry people just to prove people wrong. I did it. I shouldn't have got married. My mama was on the money. My mama was on the money. Do you understand what I'm telling you? She was on the money. But I just had to prove her wrong. Because I didn't want to be divorced like my parents. See, when I make these comments about you're a lemon from the same lemon tree, I'm telling you this because I'm a lemon from the lemon tree. See, I thought I knew better than my mom. I didn't think she knew what she was really talking about. How you gonna tell me something? And we get small. We get beside ourselves. We feel like we done been to the therapy. We done got the degrees. We done did this, and we just think we know. Oh, that lady was right. Okay, she was correct. But no, I was so addicted to proving her wrong. When people would piss me off, I got to go prove you wrong. So you know what that means? That means that you perform through exhaustion to earn safety, respect, and love. See, this is why y'all out here are auditioning for roles to be with men. Auditioning for roles to be a wife. Cooking and cleaning and cleaning and cooking and doing everything else in between to prove that you're a good wife. And when people ask me questions about why I don't do the boyfriend and girlfriend relationship aspect, you are either my friend or you either are my husband. That is why, because I don't audition for roles. Because after a while of being with someone for years in a boyfriend-girlfriend scenario, after a while, it's only a matter of time before you start auditioning, baby. It's only a matter of time before you start auditioning, and then it come up so slick. It come up so slick and it come up so quick. You just start getting real comfortable. And you just start performing duties. See, all this. Why? He at work. I think I just clean everything else. He has a... See, when you start cooking and cleaning and cleaning and cooking, who that remind him of? Somebody put in the comments for me. When you start, and you're not his wife, when you start cooking and cleaning and comforting and nurturing, who does that remind you of? His mama. And guess what else his mama starts to do too? She complain when he not doing the things he need to do. She get on him when he not doing the things he need to do. She doing all these things. She fussing. But guess what he not doing? He know when his mama start fussing and he grown, you know what they do? They leave the house. They leave. So when you start fussing, and when you start cussing, and when you start going off, and when you start doing all of these things, he leaves. He don't want it no more. And then you want to be like, oh, you're so wrong. Why would you leave me after I did all that stuff? Who told you to do that? Who told you to do that? Who taught you to perform for love? Ooh. Who taught you to perform for a position? What you're saying subconsciously in your mind is, if I stop, they'll see the truth about me and that I'm really insecure, and they'll walk away because I'm not in alignment with the fact that anything that ain't aligned ain't mine. Because I don't really believe that I'm going to have anything better than this. I have to settle based on what society, based on what is written in the data. I have to settle because there are not a lot of men. There are not a lot of this. There are not a lot of that. We just talked about how that fallen angel gave that game. You believe anything and everything that's written. Everything that's given to you. Addicted to proving, baby. The overfunctioner's trinity, again, is being addicted to pain, being addicted to pressure, being addicted to proving. Every single time you override your own rhythm, you reinforce a nervous system that only feels valuable when it's suffering. Do you understand that pain? See, pain is something we can't avoid in this life, but suffering, that's an internal state. You understand? Pain, pressure, and proving. All of those things will only make you feel like you are valuable when you are suffering. That's why you let people treat you like that. And you stick and you stay because that's what you used to. You understand? So we have to be real and honest with ourselves. Very much so respect, my love. I've had to take full accountability and responsibility for who I was when I didn't understand who I was. And that level of awareness is the first step to shifting your entire existence and shifting your reality, taking accountability and responsibility. Once you take ownership over something, how they say ownership is freedom, buying up the block. Ownership is freedom. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Ownership is freedom. Ownership is freedom. You understand? Taking ownership is the first step to dominion. It tells you in scripture that you have dominion, which means that you have your own lane, which means that you should not be comparing yourself to anybody else, because you shouldn't be looking to the left or right. Because why? You should have tunnel vision on your own lane because you have dominion. But you cannot have dominion in a world that you do not have dominion over yourself in. If you don't have dominion over yourself, don't even think you can have dominion in business and all this other stuff. My YouTube channel, love, you can click the link in the bio to subscribe. Don't think you finna have any of those things. You ain't really about that. Let's just tell the truth. Okay? So let's get into the space of talking about this law. So now I'm going to bring it to you in scripture, because y'all know everything I teach is rooted in scripture, backed up by science, and y'all can go look this stuff up for yourself. I recommend you go look it up. You ain't even got to listen to me. I got spiritual ethics, which means I have a responsibility to the Most High. I'm held at a higher standard because I've stepped into the full role of what I'm supposed to do, which is teach. So I ain't got time to play with y'all. Thank you. Thank you, my love, for these gifts. I ain't got time to play with y'all spirits. I ain't got time to play with y'all minds. I ain't got time to play with y'all emotions. The true testament of power is understanding and having power and still choosing to be honorable in using that power. A lot of people not being honorable in their power. You understand? A lot of people don't have spiritual ethics. And even when you're dealing with someone like me who has spiritual ethics, go read and check for yourself still. Because you need to feel it for yourself. Okay, so let's get into the law of celestial alignment. If you were not put on game, I'm going to put you on game on how this works and how you are connected to it. I'm going to discuss two laws real quick. The first one I'm going to get into is the law of oneness, which basically speaks how everything is connected. Everything is basically connected and connected back to the one who created everything, which is the Most High. Now, we're talking about the law of celestial alignment, and this for me is rooted in Psalms 104:19, where it says he made the moon for seasons and the sun knows its time of setting. Do you understand? Okay, do you understand that Psalm 104:19? Do you understand that the moon is in charge for seasons? Do you understand the connection between your cycle and the moon, how it also runs in seasons? Okay, so what this is saying, okay, the law was never broken, it was erased, but your body still remembers its authentic, true design, which is why when you fight against your authentic, true design, you become ill, you become sick. In the Ethiopian scripture, it breaks down in that basically in that verse that the moon is not just light. The moon, as you know, controls what? Somebody put it in the comments for me. Any other nerds in the building? What does the moon control the tide of? Psalm 104:19. Does anyone know what the moon controls the tide of? The ocean. Thank you. Thank you for the loves who answered the ocean and water. When you think about feelings and when you think about tears, what do you think about? Water, right? So it makes perfect sense for you to have a moon cycle. You understand? It makes perfect sense for you to have a moon cycle that goes through seasons and that goes through phases. The moon is not just light. The moon is a divine timekeeper. Go read the scripture back. Go read the book of Enoch. The moon is a divine timekeeper, a calendar of consecration. Okay? The sun, when it says the sun knows it's going down, it implies a system of celestial obedience. The sun and the moon are luminaries, meaning that they have positions. When they show up, the moon show up and the sun show up, they got jobs. That means they have assignments. Those are their assignments. And if you don't believe me, you can go look this up in the book of Enoch, where it talked about the stars that didn't show up on time and what happened to them when they didn't show up on assignment. Everybody has an assignment here. You understand? Everybody has an assignment here. And when you get off kilter within your internal universe, you cannot complete your assignment. And do you understand that sin by definition means to miss the mark? Do you realize if you are imbalanced, if you are sick, if you are not well, you're going to miss the mark? Do you realize that if you are submitting to systems that put you in a position to go against yourself, you're going to result in sickness? Absolutely. And the moon tells us when Yah's new months, absolutely. Absolutely. These are the things that we have to get clarity on. To miss the mark means to sin. Imagine spending your whole life claiming that you don't do this, you don't do things of the world, but still miss the mark. That's crazy, ain't it? You so focused on the fact that old boy smoking and drinking and going out to the club and doing this and doing that, and you ain't even on assignment yourself. When it says take the plank out your eye, that's what it means. Get it out your eye. You're not in position, baby. You're not in position to speak. You heavy on the people that's out here. Oh, okay then. What about yourself? What about focusing on that? Okay? So, just like it's talking about specifically in this verse, he made the moon for the seasons and the sun knows the time of its setting. It basically is implying a system of celestial obedience, meaning that the star... See, this is why you're not supposed to worship and put astrology as your head, because the moon and the sun and the stars worship the creator of all things. And it talks about the astrological system as well in scripture. You know, you really dive deep. But you got to get you some understanding. Y'all, come on, somebody put this verse on here, because I don't want to keep saying it now. Psalm 104:19. Okay? So, just like it's implying a system of celestial obedience, your body was meant to obey the same sacred pattern. If you pay attention to the moon, thank you, my lovey, it's the same. You were not meant to obey clocks. This is why, truthfully, women who come to work with me, they no longer need alarm clocks because they wake up during their watch time. Their body, see, when their body start getting regulated, they wake up at their appointed time. I miss you more. They wake up at their appointed time. That's one of the first things my clients don't have. They get rid of their alarm clocks. They don't need them because they are waking up consistently between a 3-hour period. See, I wake up between 3 and 6 a.m. every morning. You understand? More so 4 to 6. Okay? So these are the things that you have to start paying attention to within yourself. You are not made to obey clocks. Okay? Hold on, let me fix this right quick. There we go. You were made to align with creation. You were made to align with creation. Okay? The seasons were your sacred syllabus. You go through menstrual, follicular, luteal, ovulation. We go through fall, spring, summer, winter, all the time. All these things are connected. The Most High is the most intelligent architect of everything. Do you understand? I can't tell you when to go to sleep, baby. I can tell you to go. I tell you that you need to go to sleep. I can't tell you when to go to sleep. Okay? So understand what's going on. The moon lets you know. It's an example. These things aren't to be, you're not supposed to worship creations. You're supposed to look at them in awe and see yourself in them. See? You missing it. You're not supposed to worship creations. You're supposed to look at them and see yourself and see the wonder of the creator of all things and the Most High's work in these things that is also within you. You understand? So a lot of us really don't understand and don't pay attention to that. You've been taught to submit to clocks instead of submitting to your actual design, and that's a problem. So I'm going to break down a little bit of, in this, using the Strong's Concordance, what that means when it comes down to that verse. He made the moon for the seasons. The sun knows it's time for setting. He appointed the moon. Appointed means to activate, okay, execute, and create. All right? You need to ask the creator why you are waking up during that time. You need to ask the creator what needs to be, what do you need to receive? And you need to be open to receive. I will be having very deep conversations with the one that created me. I will be asking the one that created me to guide me throughout the day, because I'm living in a world that I did not create. You are living in a world full of, landmines. So when you wake up every single morning, you're asking for direction, because so you don't step on the landmine. And the landmines are imaginary. It could be people. You understand? And you want to be very in tune with yourself till you don't take certain phone calls. You don't have certain conversations. You want to be very in tune with self and your capability and your capacity. So you want to ask for strength. You want to ask for guidance. You want to ask for wisdom. All of those things. So appointed means to activate. And these are all according to Strong's, right? To activate, to execute, and to create. The moon, okay, represents for the seasons, the new month, okay? Monthly cycles, divine clock. Seasons, appointed times, sacred festivals, divine appointments, okay? That's what you need to understand. Your rhythm was literally, when you even look at it, your rhythm is so connected, it's so real. It was even written in the sky. You get up every single day and look at the moon and don't see the connection between the moon and your cycle, because they don't teach us. You look up and you don't understand the seasons of your cycle because they don't teach us, okay? You let corporate calendars rewrite your biology, okay? You're not out of alignment. You've just been, how can I explain this? You've been timed out of your temple. They told you how you should work. They told you how you should operate. They told you these things. You still have a hormonal cycle even if you are menopaused. Okay? So, keep that. All right? Your body literally was wired to do the same thing as the celestial system that you look at every single day, and you never saw yourself in it. Okay? You never saw yourself in it. Menstrual cycles. Your body is wired the same way as the celestial system. Menstrual cycles, emotional waves, and energetic highs and lows. Okay? What I'm telling you is not a poetic metaphor. I'm not telling you, oh, it's just this. This is not only scriptural, but it's also spiritual science. And this spiritual science is encoded in scripture. This is why you should really sit with the scripture and allow it to reveal yourself and really ask and really seek and really knock so you can really get an understanding, because you will see yourself in it and you will know how to manage yourself. Okay? So it's extremely important and extremely vital. You should be working in alignment. Everything, you should be working in alignment. So how you should be working is according to your unique design. You have creative and witty inventions in your very being according to Proverbs 8 and 12. You have the kingdom of heaven within you according to Luke 17 and 21, right? So you have to go within to figure out what's supposed to happen in the outer. If that makes sense. All right. So the Western world replaced these sacred biologies or these biological alignments that they knew about, with artificial exploitative systems. Okay. The work weeks instead of womb weeks. See, it used to be a time in scripture where women, when they were on their cycles, they would be in solitude because they were releasing. It was a perfect time for them to be able to receive the downloads from their creator because they were releasing physically, spiritually, things that didn't belong, mentally, and emotionally, things that don't belong. We are walking around here every single month. All you're doing is bleeding every month. You bleeding every month, and you're not releasing, and you bleeding on other people. I'm going to say it again. You're bleeding every month, but you're never really releasing the things that don't belong. And because of that, you're bleeding on the people around you, whether you realize it or not. A woman should be able to receive, release, and reject. Period. Spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Again, a woman should be able to receive, release, and reject. If you are not receiving, releasing, and rejecting in your body, then guess what that means? If you're not going to the bathroom, if you're not doing number 2, let's talk about it. If you're not doing it regularly the way you are supposed to be doing it regularly, then guess what happens? Waste is being stored in your body. Too much of estrogen is being stored in your body. When you're not eating enough fiber, that means you're not releasing enough estrogen. Pay attention. What's the number one cause and root behind fibroids and breast cancer? Estrogen dominance. Too much estrogen because you're not releasing. You understand? Because you're not releasing every month. You're not disconnecting and pulling the things away from you that do not belong. And because of that, you're keeping it and it's making you sick. These are the things that we have to pay attention to. They also created the system of corporate productivity instead of rest cycles. The 9-to-5 obedience instead of divine obedience. Your monthly rhythm was literally assigned by the one that created you as a divine appointment. And when the world stripped you of that, it didn't just disrupt your period. Hear me. It dismantled your power source. You know why? Because there's a connection between your hypothalamus, which is in your brain, your pituitary gland, and your ovaries. During a phase of your cycle, if you know how to use that, you can take that energy and create massively. I mean, you can take the energy and do something absolutely amazing because your brain power is like, I can't even explain it. I teach it to my clients and I do it, right? So your brain during that time is literally like chef's kiss. Because you don't know how to use it, you waste that energy and you dismantle your power source. Okay? Your womb is a wealth creation station. Not all women are sent here to this earth to birth children. There are women who have been sent to this earth to be fruitful and multiply and building things that will outlast them. And in order to do that, you need a working womb. When I was the picture that I showed y'all, my creativity sucked. And I had been creative since I was in 3rd grade. But I had a creativity block for years because I was working against my design. When I came out of that, my creativity flourished. And it continues to flourish because I am in sync with my cycle in my body. If you are in a space when you don't understand these things, you've never gotten knowledge about these things, and you want to understand this aspect about yourself, in 4 days, I got a few tickets left. I'm having a class. If you want to unhook from this system, you will learn, okay, several different things. You're going to learn, specifically, you need to get that checked. If it's 36 to 40 days, that's a problem. It's a problem. That is an absolute problem. You need to get that. You need to see what's going on with that. ASAP. 36 to 40? No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Okay? Let me tell you what you're going to learn. My light just died. Let me tell you what y'all going to learn in this class before I get ready to let y'all go, okay? You're going to learn specifically. Let me scroll down. I'm sorry. I just missed it. You're going to learn your sun clock and your moon clock. That's first and foremost. You're going to get very clear on that and how to lead in life and business and every single day with these clocks and understanding. You're going to learn how to eat, how to rest, how to do business, how to do life according to your rhythm. You're also going to learn and get the rhythmic schedule, okay, which is a mapped out planner template that breaks down your month and your day into hormone aligned windows. Okay, action windows. It teaches you when you are your sharpest, when you are not your sharpest, how to maneuver. These are things that they're not going to tell you, because if they tell you this, you're going to stop getting birth control. If they tell you this, you're going to regulate your cycle. If you tell them that, it ain't going to be too many of y'all out here with all these issues. You understand? The next thing that you're going to get, okay, you're going to get a power tracker, which is to track your energy, your emotions, your cravings, and your clarity and your creativity for 30 days. It's going to teach you how to decode your personal rhythm, okay? You're going to get a year access to this, all right? So it's going to teach you the science behind your daily hormones, how your attention, your energy, and your clarity shift across the day, because you need to know when to work, when to move, when to rest, when to leave things alone, okay? You're going to get that 4 hormone-driven phases planner and all these different things, and you're going to learn how to sync your clocks, because your sun clock and your moon clock need to be in sync in order for you to be healthier. Women that come to work with me have 3 results. They make more money, they get healthier, they attract better community, and they attract better men. If you're in a space where you're wanting any one of those, you're going to have to get that rhythm right. If you want to get that rhythm right, I will see you in class on Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, The Rhythmic Woman. You can click the link in the bio to get your ticket. If you get your ticket today, oh, hold on, how many I got left? I think I got, how many? I don't want to lie, y'all. So I got a bonus going on right now. I'm sorry, y'all know I broke my nail. I got a bonus going on right now where you can get Harmony in 6. Harmony in 6, the class, I'm sorry, let me go back. Harmony in 6 has the value of about $1,500. It costs $333. That's Harmony in 6. You get that as a bonus. Harmony in 6 is going to help you understand the connection between your hypothalamus, your pituitary gland, and your ovaries, so you can understand how to enhance your creativity by syncing with your cycle. So if you have been wanting to earn money in a more of a passive way, in a more of a creative way, and you can't really seem to activate your creative juices anymore, you're probably disconnected from your cycle. And Harmony in 6 will set you up for 6-figure success. Harmony in 6 is basically the formula that I gave to my client that's almost at $1 million that she continues to use to this day. She knows how to use her moon cycle to be able to move ahead. And right now where we are, you need to learn how to quantum jump and move ahead. And a part of that is going to be you understanding and being in rhythm with your cycle. So Harmony in 6 has gotten results for clients as far as regulating their cycles, getting rid of hormonal acne that one of my clients had for like 8 months, including increasing creativity, amplifying creativity, and even attracting cash. I've had clients to attract cash contracts after that. Okay. That is the bonus that you get when you get your ticket to The Rhythmic Woman. The Rhythmic Woman is $297. You can get it with Klarna, Affirm, and Afterpay. I only have, somebody bought a ticket to The Rhythmic Woman this morning, so I think I only have 5 spots left where you can get Harmony in 6 too. So once those 5 spots are gone, like if you get it right now on this live, you'll get Harmony in 6 as a bonus, and you'll be able to log in and get that information today. Okay, and then you will see me in class on the 16th where you can ask questions and you will get all the rest of your information. So if you are wanting to get in sync with your cycle, if you are wanting to enhance your creativity, if you are wanting to get yourself back into your rhythm, then click the link in the bio and grab The Rhythmic Woman. I got you, boo. I'm sending you your login information when I get off here. Okay, so that's who that was. I was trying to figure out who that was that got the ticket not too long before I got on here. I'm going to send you your login information when I get off here so you can log directly into Harmony in 6 and enjoy. Harmony in 6 is absolutely amazing. I have so many cheat codes and different things on there on how to turn your creativity into cash once you get your cycle together. So Welcome. Harmony in 6 has amazing results. That was a group program that I did, and the women in that program got amazing results. So click the link in the bio to get access to the Rhythmic Woman. If you are one of the 5 that ends up coming in, you will get Harmony in 6 as well. And as you get those informations, do your work. If you're having hormonal issues, do your work, because it will support you in being able to get to where you need to be. You will see your periods be different. My periods, I'm 41. I'm not menopausal. I don't have perimenopause. None of that is going on with me. You understand? So be in sync with your cycle. Certain things don't have to happen if you are in sync and you pay attention to what is happening to you, okay? So it's really, really important for you to be in that space. So click the link in the bio to get access. I also have Substacks that you can go and read if you're a reader, where I discuss in the Red Knowledge Tree lessons and a lot of light feminine things. But if you are into doing a lot of shadow and sovereignty, then the Black Sanctum is where you need to be, because that's where the dark feminine is. So you can click the link in the bio to be able to get access to those. You can get free and paid subscriptions to be on my Substack. If you've ever read my letters are very powerful and they shift your reality, okay? So if you want to do that work in the written form and you're not ready for class, then I strongly suggest that you go over to the Black Sanctum or the Red Knowledge Tree and sign up for a paid subscription, because it's life-changing over there as well. Did you have any faint? But I don't have I'm not perimenopausal, sweetie. I don't have any of that. Any of that. My cycle lasts at max 4 days. And like I said, I'm 41. I don't be having a whole bunch of cramps and none of that other stuff. Nope. And this is coming from someone who had a regular cycle for 21 years. If I can do it, thank you, my love, for these gifts. You can do it. Okay? I'm one of those type of people that's going to get the job done, but I'm going to try to find the most leanest way to be able to get it done. The most leanest way to be able to knock things out. I hate this light died. It's probably still going to cut off again. Okay, so I try to find the way with the most ease to execute efficiently and effectively. And that's what I've been able to do for my clients, why they get the results they get. So with all that being said, I'm about to get off here. What questions do you guys have for me? Drop your questions in the comments for me. Drop your questions in the comments for me if you have any in regard to what we're talking about. Because like I said, now you know they never plan to fix you, baby. They plan to replace you, because there's so many other women. There's a creator who I respect on this app, and one of the things that she says is she always makes a joke, but she's not joking. I laugh because I know she's serious. But she says, I don't do anything for a man because there's always a woman ready to perform for him, right? And that's very true. When you don't know who you are, you perform. When you know who you are, you operate from essence, okay? It's not Jay, it's the other one. Yep, I respect that, because that's true. Women perform. Women perform. And it's always going to be one that's going to perform, because it's always going to be one who does not know her value. Because she is not rooted in what? The truth of her identity. Hence why I am an identity authority consult. Women come to me and I close the authority gap with them, the place between achieving what they want and sustaining what they want. I help them close that so they can actually keep what they say that they want. Most women get stuff. It's easy to manifest anything. Manifestation is easy. You're doing it right now. It's more so about, can you sustain? Because that's what matters, beloved. Okay, thank you, my lovey. Yay, I'm so glad you'll be there. You'll be there Thursday. I'll get your login information once I get off here so you can get access to Harmony in 6. And I really hope you enjoy. Harmony in 6 is one of my favorites, baby. It's one of my favorites because it got me right. Okay, y'all saw how I was looking. Don't make me pull that picture back up. I'm going to do it one more time. Child, I wasted all my 20s. Was a fool. Do you hear me? I ain't looking like this. And I didn't have to. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. That's me at 21. Y'all see my crack iPad? I'm going to get it fixed today. That's me at 21. Okay? Insulin resistant, polycystic ovarian, all of that is in my skin. Growing a full-fledged beard, all of that great stuff. Yeah. Okay? Now I'm 41. That's 20 years ago. I look younger now than I did then, and I'm sad about that. But I'm glad I'm doing my work consistently, okay? What do you recommend starting the process of healing that? To be in my class. To be in my class. That's what I recommend. Because that's where you're going to get it. 2-month long period after I came to a new city. Oof. Gotta check that stress, baby, and that diet. Stress, diet, and let's check genetics. I'm 29. I don't want to change my life. Yep. Come on in, baby. Come on in. Girl, don't look like that in my picture. Don't do that. Not too much now. Not too much. That was me though, but not too much, girl. Not too much, love muff. Hi, honey. You think harmony is beneficial? Hi, my lovey. That's one of my I don't want to call my babies, but that's one of my lovies from who was in the Muse Activated my last round. Anaya Sin, are you still on Telegram? It's going to amplify your creativity. If it's going to amplify if you want your creativity amplified, then yes, I think that it is going to really support you. Harmony in 6 comes with the rhythmic woman. Dang, my little lights. I'm going to charge it up when I get out here. So if you're trying to amplify your creativity, then I think that would be perfect for you. But we can talk about it because I want to make sure that that is right. Okay. So if we're having issues in the area of creativity or even cycle issues, that will definitely help you because it's more in depth and it focuses on cycle stuff. It even has the connection between your cycle and cash flow. So if that's something that sounds good to you, boo, then most definitely get it. And then too, Anaya, if you get into it, I'm trying to see if there's a way for me to be able to, yeah, just send me a message. We'll get into it. Okay. Harmony of 6 is attached to what's the name? To the rhythmic woman. So once you get that, you're good to go. What's the difference between the rhythmic? We don't talk in the rhythmic woman. We break down your clocks. We don't talk about your clocks at all. Okay, you're welcome, lovey. We don't talk about your clocks at all in Harmony in 6. We strictly talk about your cycle and creativity. We talk about nothing but those two things. That's what we focus on. So the energetics around that, what you need to be eating, like all the different types of stuff, your actual cycle, breaking down your seasons and stuff like that. You're gonna learn a lot of that in Harmony in 6. Harmony, not Harmony in 6. In Harmony in 6. But in the rhythmic woman, you're going to learn how to balance your clocks, how to move, how to operate. Heavy into nourishment, like what this means, how your sun clock is impacting your organs, how your moon clock in regard to your cycle. We're going into the heavy depths of that so you understand yourself. So once you understand yourself, if I had to do the two in an order, I would say you need the rhythmic woman first. The link is in the bio, sweetie. It says the rhythmic woman. It's the third one. It should be the third one up there right after my Substacks. After my Substack links. The rhythmic woman, I would say you start there so you can learn the basics about yourself. Harmony in 6 is going to help you activate those things and learn and show you how you can amplify your creativity and create cash flow using your cycle. Okay, so most people may want to try to jump into Harmony in 6 first and be like, oh yeah, you'll get up in there and you might be able to make some cash and be able to do the things I'm telling you, but you ain't gonna be able to sustain. Why? Because you don't understand the basics of your rhythm. You need to understand the sun clock. You need to understand the moon clock. You need to understand your hormones and the difference and how you working too hard impacts that. We don't talk about that in Harmony in 6. We talk about that in a rhythmic woman because the goal is to get you in rhythm. Harmony in 6 is to get you in a space of harmony so that you can create six figure or more success, because you can. And I have clients who've been able to use it, and I've done it. I've built a multi 6-figure business from the ground up without hustling. I'm not a hustler. I used to be, but I'm not a hustler even by definition, because to hustle means to swindle, and there's power of life and death in the tongue. So if I'm saying I'm a hustler, that means I'm gonna swindle you. Pay attention. You know what I'm saying? If I'm saying I'm a grind, like I'm crushing, like these things, you have to pay attention to the words and the things that you're saying. Okay? Any other questions? You are enough. The link is in the bio, my lovey. Let me know if you don't see it. You should be able to go to I don't have TikTok on my iPad, but you should be able to go to my thing, click it, scroll down. You're going to click Rhythmic Woman. It's going to give you a full layout of what you're going to get in Rhythmic Woman. You're going to scroll down to it says buy here, and you can buy it with Klarna, Affirm, and Afterpay. And if you've already purchased, if you're one of the 5, because like I said, I only got 5. The next 5 tickets are going for women. I mean, sorry, the next 5 tickets include Harmony and 6. After those 5 tickets, Harmony and 6 is not coming with that. And Harmony and 6 is that's a great closeout to the Rhythmic Woman, okay? So you're getting the value of, honestly, about $2,500 with Harmony and 6 and the Rhythmic Woman, because this is not only giving you the value of like $2,500, but I'm teaching you something that you can use for the rest of your life that can prevent you from having piss poor health. I'm not even kidding. It's coming from somebody, like I say, used to be 100 pounds heavy. Okay? So, all right, y'all. I'm not seeing any other questions. Congratulations to those who have purchased. I'm so excited. I'll see you Thursday. Thursday's gonna be so good. And this is my last masterclass, because I'm only doing masterclass once a quarter now. So this is my last masterclass of the entire year. So, and let me say this too. I don't believe, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna stand on this strong. I don't believe that I'm going to sell the Rhythmic Woman by itself. And if I do, it may be like the day after. Sometime I'll come on Friday and be like, okay, if you want the replay, you can get it today only, because it's going in a bundle. I already know the bundle is going in. It's going in the Feminine Authority bundle. That's $500. That's where the physics of feminine follow through is over there, along with a bunch of other courses that get you in a state of your feminine authority, so you know how to use your power. So it's gonna go in there. Okay? Are you saying that the PDF? Yes. No. Yes, it does. Are you saying that the Rhythmic Clock PDF contains a Harmony 6 course? Yes. What I'm saying is, if you purchase it today and you're one of the 5 people, you will automatically get Harmony and 6 that comes with it. Harmony and 6 is not, I don't know if Harmony and 6 is included on their PDF. I don't think so. But you'll get Harmony and 6 if you purchase today and you're within that 5. If you purchase tomorrow and the 5 is already gone, you only get a ticket to the Rhythmic Woman. Okay? So if you want it, speed. As far as getting it, I already have to send out one, and then I'm gonna check the ones that came on here, and I have to send those out, and then I'll know the final number. Okay. All right, lovies. I hate this light keep going out because my YouTube family gonna be like, girl, what happened? But I love y'all. So click the link in the bio to get access to my YouTube and all this other great stuff. Sign up for my Substack if you love to read, like me, because I'm a nerd. And yeah, and if you have any questions or any concerns or anything, let me know. Because I think I'm about to record some content on, I saw a video, y'all, where this girl was talking about how she went from being a virgin to a single mom due to piss poor programming in the church. And I think I'm gonna do a content video on that, because I just told y'all about the fallen angel, but that's a whole nother conversation. So I hope that y'all have an amazing Monday. Please enjoy. Remember that self-care is the key fundamental of every single relationship, and you set the tone of how people treat you by the way you treat yourself. So you should treat yourself exceptionally well, baby, because you deserve it. Now, if you don't believe you deserve it, I'm not going to argue with your perception of self, because belief impacts biology, and biology influences the way you behave. So if you don't like your behavior and you don't like the fruit in your life, you might want to check your beliefs, okay? All right, I hope you're having an amazing, magnificent Monday. I might be back tomorrow to go live. I'm not quite sure. Or I might be writing tomorrow. Wherever the Lord leads me, that won't be it, all right? All right, y'all. Have an amazing, amazing day.